Hello everyone, and how are you all doing? I am so thrilled to see the Init party, and I'm kind of a bit emotional right now seeing what we did last year in the last hackathon season. Just let's talk about it for a bit because I know a lot of you are in that mood like me as well. So I would love to know from you which was your favorite part of the Init party and what did you enjoy the most? And I would also love to know your hackathon experience. So do share that in the chat and I would love to give some shout outs as well. So just waiting on for you all to share that your experience in the chat. And I don't want to start with the workshop just right away. So let's wait for other people to join in as well. In the meantime, don't forget to check in, folks. The check-in link is already shared on Discord, but let me quickly get the check-in link. So check in for the event. Don't forget to check in if you want those guild points and make your guild stand out for this Init event. All right, everyone. So Init party made me cry in hand. I know, right? And I am still in that emotion. I am still, processing the whole Init party at the movement. It was just so amazing to see everyone come up on the stream, sharing their stories and sharing, how was their experience last year in the with the hackathons. What else? What else? What else do we got? Let's see. Let's hear some noises in the chat. Some people. So also, I would love to know from where you are joining in and which guild you are representing today. So just put it in the chat from where you are joining in and which guild you are participating from today. All right, so while you all are sharing this, let me quickly add my screen in the stream so that we all know what we are going to do today. I see we have Blahaj Gang, people from Blahaj Gang joining in. And Samrad is turning in from India. Oh, wow. That's really late in India, if I'm not wrong, right? I am sorry if I pronounce it wrong. They say that I missed it sadly, so I can't see any comments. You can always check out the videos. So if you go to twitch.tv/MLH, you can always check out all these recordings. We got Cracking Factory from India as well. Cracking Factory, I've heard a lot about you from South Africa, so I'm really interested to talk with you guys and know more about you people. Oh wow, okay, a lot of people are joining in from India. We have EVI joining in from Canada and Blahaj Gang once again over here. Oh, it's 1:30 a.m. in India and you're still awake with all the energy. That's really amazing to see. Awesome. All right. It's too late, but interested for web scraping. Awesome. I am interested in web scraping as well. I haven't done a lot of web scraping before, but we'll figure it out together. Let's do that. And Vishay says, thank you. So we can. Yeah, we can. So let's do it. All right. So web scraping. Let's come to web scraping now. And I would love to know from you all. Have you ever done web scraping before? And if yes, why did you do it? Right? There might be a reason for you to, scrape some data from the internet. But why did you do that? And how did you do it? I would really love to know. Because I planned something different today. I know we have been using a lot of codes in all these workshops lately. So I thought, let's take a different route. Let's do something with low code. So maybe we don't do something with some code and we see without coding using tools. Yep, that's what we are going to do today. We are going to use a low code platform to do some web scraping. So I have three ideas and we can go around any of those three ideas. Just FYI, one of those ideas is not actually web scraping, but we can discuss it later on. And I see Adam is here as well. Hey, Adam, I really love that video of yours. Good job. Awesome. All right. So the three ideas that I have, two of these are really close to kind of my heart, and one of them is really fun. The first idea that I have is to scrap Amazon's job listing website so that we can, get information from that, post it on Discord maybe, so that, whenever Amazon post has a new opening for someone like us, we get an alert, and then we can, just go ahead and apply over there. So that's the first use case, is to scrape Amazon's job listing website. The next one that I have thought about is scraping GitHub to find out the top repositories and, share that repositories with our community members, because a lot of us want to contribute to open source projects, but I have experienced that as well, that it becomes a bit difficult to find out which open source project we can contribute to. So we can have web scraping workflow, which would scrape GitHub, which would, get us top repositories, and maybe we can filter out those repositories based on some criterias. So that can be another option. And let's see. Black Panther says hi. Hey, Black Panther. Thank you for joining in. All right. And the last idea is really amazing and really interesting. So, if you all don't know about this, there is a new Amazon service that's recently launched, and that's called AWS Infinity Dashboard or Infinity Dash. How I'm so bad at this, I forgot the name completely. So we can gonna, we can. So it's still, the website is kind of in the private beta mode, but a lot of people are talking about this on Twitter. So maybe we, get those tweets from Twitter and do something around that. So those are the three ideas that I have, but I would love to know, what do you think we should do today? I see a question coming in the chat. What will you be using for web scraping? Like a language or just like bash piping with curl? Okay, these are some complicated questions. No, my friend, we are not gonna do anything like that. We are gonna do something on the low code terms, because throughout the hackathons, we always try to build solutions through code. But I work with a company that is building a low code platform, and I see the power, that these low code tools have. So I want to try and explore the capabilities of that and see if we can, some kind of web scraping with that. Hello, Jean Accord. Welcome to the stream. And I have Dhruv is saying that the GitHub one sounds great. Let's do that. Okay, folks, quickly, let me know. What do we want to do? We want to do the GitHub scrapping? Do we want to do we want to scrap Amazon's job listings? Or do we want to scrap Twitter I don't know, do you want to scrap Twitter for the AWS Infinity tweets? Just let me know quickly in the chat. All right, awesome. So what webcam you use? I am using the default webcam that I have on my Mac. Is that so good? I don't think it's so good. I don't know. All right. I see someone saying you must be a gamer. Ah, honestly, I am not a gamer. But let's keep this to ourselves. Uh, w- Wait, I somehow missed it. OMG, what language? No language. That's the fun part. You just need to have some basic understanding of JavaScript. That's it. And you are all set to go. So we are not going to focus on any particular language today. And I see a question for me, where I am joining from. I am joining from Berlin, Germany. And that's why it's not too late for me. Awesome. All right. Okay. I see a lot of people posting in. We have Mr. Lag saying hello, everyone. Hey. All right. So GitHub scraping. All right. Wishes says all of these GitHub scraping, which may use Python. Okay. For Python, we do have a workshop that we do for localhost. So maybe you should join that workshop, and that might be interesting for you. GitHub. Someone says shouting, woohoo. All right, Twitter and GitHub. GitHub. All right, okay. So since all of you over here, I mean the most of you over here have shared GitHub, let's go ahead and scrape GitHub and get some top GitHub repositories, and let's decide, in the process what we want to do next. All right, so let me share my screen, and before doing that, let me quickly pull up my browser. All right, and I'm gonna add my screen. All right, so the tool that we are gonna use today is N8N. So N8N is a low-code platform, and I'm not gonna go into a lot of details about this, but what I want uh, to show over here is this particular section that says how to get started. So it's pretty simple to get started. All you need is Node.js. So if you don't have Node.js, you can simply go to Google and search for Node.js, or go to nodejs.org, and the first page that you will see is the download link for Node.js, right? So I would suggest to use the LTS version, that's the long-term support version, and not the current version. So go ahead and download Node.js if you don't have it. And because we are gonna basically use npm to run N8N. So that's the cool part about it. So you don't have to, download it. You can simply use it with the command npx, and it's all. It's all. It's gonna run on your machine with that. So let me know in the chat quickly how many of you have downloaded already. Okay, we see that wishes yeah, okay, wishes has downloaded already Node.js. That's pretty awesome. So what about the folks? Have you downloaded Node.js? Do you have Node.js already? Or you can all you can always use Docker if you have Docker. For Docker, you need to run this particular command. So you can, just start a Docker container and then use N8N inside that. So while you all are downloading and just replying back to me, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the chat and go through the messages that I might have missed. What is GitHub scraping? So what we are gonna do today is we are gonna scrape the top repositories from GitHub, and let's see how we do this, and let's see what we're gonna do next. So the idea over here is to scrape GitHub, get the top repositories, and share it with our community, with some details, so that our community members can get started with contributing to these projects. Vishal says you don't need any language except English. I agree with you on this. So yeah, I agree with you. Uh, Minimum entropy says GitHub has got to have an API log. That's the fun part. So I was looking into this, and it does not have an API to get those, top repositories. But if you find it, just let me know. I'm really curious to know and know about that API. Guten server Tag. I don't think that's how you say it. I think it's Guten Tag. I don't know what servers means. I don't know German yet. I'm still learning. All right. So Sigi says with scraping with Python. Never knew we could do it with JS. Would be awesome. You could do it with JS, right? So there are a lot of libraries that you can use to scrape any kind of web pages with JavaScript. So that is going to be pretty amazing. Uh, I don't know JavaScript. It's so confusing. I don't know when it's reference and when it's value and the variable types. OMG, I know I have been there. Trust me. This has been me when I started with JavaScript, and honestly, I still don't know this. But but you figure it out. The more you use JavaScript, the more familiar you get with it. Awesome. All right. So the best language for scraping. I see I have a question over here. Okay. I want to take a pause over here answering the questions. I want other people to, share what they think is the best language for scraping. So let's know what other people think about this. You could do it with WebAssembly if you want to try. Maybe one day we can try it with WebAssembly. I'm really bad with that, so I don't want to do it on this stream. but maybe someday we can. Awesome. All right. So I see a couple of people have already have installed either Node.js or they have Docker container or Docker installed already. Awesome. So let's do this. So I have my terminal already open, and what I'm gonna do is, okay, I cheated a bit before. I already downloaded the repo, and I'm gonna use that. But you can always start without downloading the whole package using npx init. So if you do this, it will take a couple of seconds to get the repository from npm locally, and then you can run it on your own machine. But as I mentioned, I have init already installed. So I'm just gonna go into that project repository and let's see init and all right, awesome. So again, I'm again on another, let's see, tab. And if you want to globally install init, the command is npm install -g and then init, and this will install init globally. And once you have that, the next command you want to run to start init is init start. And when you do that, let me show you this again. So when you do that, it will start init for you, and then you can see that it will be accessible at port 5678, and you can go to that port and just start playing around with it. So I'm just gonna close this for now because I'm gonna go ahead and use from this repository. Now again, this is a step especially for me because I have forked the repository and I am working from that repository. But if you don't want to clone the repository, you can always use the npx command or install it using the npm command, or even go with Docker, right? So let me quickly start init npm run start, and it's gonna take a couple of seconds. In the meantime, let me see what we have. What is the process on Windows? Okay, but let me go back over here. Okay. Okay, I think I missed a couple of messages over here. So someone says JavaScript has made me learn grammar. uh, it your grandma. What kind of grammar did you learn from JavaScript? I would love to know that. And yeah, I think JavaScript is a bit funky in its own way, and I think that's where TypeScript comes into the picture. But let's not get into it today. Vijay is saying Python. Sundarbi says I would choose Python or JS. Let's see. Empty desktop. Wow. I'm using a second monitor over here, so that's why an empty desktop. Otherwise, my desktop is completely filled with a lot of things on the screen. Trust me. Everyone is saying Python or JS. I hate both of those. Lol. I am dead. It's completely fine. I have some experience in Python, but I don't have a lot of experience, so that's completely fine. And I see what is the process on Windows. On Windows, the process is the same. Make sure you have Node.js already installed on your machine, and make sure that you are using the LTS version, that's 14.16, if I'm not wrong. Let's check. Oh, it's 14.17, right? And yeah, and then you can just run the commands that I mentioned earlier. Wait, do we need to download Docker? You don't need to download Docker. You can use it in Docker, or you can use it via the npm package. So it's up to you how you want to get started with init. Where is the repo link? The repo link is on the website itself. Let me quickly get that for you. If you want to use the repo, I would definitely love that. But I would say if you are going to use a repo, you need to install the packages. There are a couple of steps over there, and I don't want you to get into those steps because it might take a while for you. So let's just skip that part. Okay. All right. Now let's come back. If I've missed your question, please put them in the chat if you have any questions, and I'll try to come back to that. But I want to quickly get started uh with our with our event today, right? So I have my I have my init running through the repository. I use the command npm run start. Again, you don't need to use this. I am running init from the repository, and that's why I have it running through the npm package. All right, so now I did type O in my terminal, but it opened in a different screen. So let me go back over here. All right, so now this is how init would look like for you once you have installed init and once init is running on your service, right? Now there are a couple of things that I don't want to get into at the movement. I just want to get started with building a workflow. So the first thing, all right, so we decided we want to scrape GitHub for this, right? So let's go and take a look at GitHub for now. So I'm over here at GitHub, and yeah, I use the dark theme. I am more on the the darker side. I love the dark theme, so I always prefer the dark theme. So that's me. So what I want to do is I want to get some search results from over here. So let's just see what let's just take a look at the URL over here, because this is the URL that we are going to use. Okay, now I'm going to quickly take a pause over here while you all start N10. Okay, all right. So what's the global installing for? The global installing is for, if you want to run N10 globally with the N10 command, that's when you can use the global command. Or if you want to, host N10 on your server, you can install it globally on the server and use N10. And someone is talking about Docker. So Docker is a virtual machine. Yep, that's correct. And Docker, so that's what you can do with having a Docker container. And if you are, not familiar with Docker, I would say just, go and take a look at Docker. It's a pretty amazing technology, and I think it's got a lot of scope in the future. So always take a look at Docker. Classic Karthik says global installing is kind of like a scope of variable. If you use global, you can use it from anywhere else. It's just installed in a particular folder. Yep. Thank you, Classic Karthik, for explaining that. See, on the process to the process to build the scraper is a GUI. Exactly. The process to build the scraper is a GUI. So we are going to use a GUI tool to build the scraper. I see someone is saying, can you go slow? We are still installing. Noted that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang out in the chat for a while everyone has installed this. If you have installed it already, I would suggest you to, just play around a bit with it and see if you can, get started with building your own scraper. Can you show the terminal command once again to download N10? Definitely. Here is the command. Let me see if I can, get to you the link to the documentation, because there you can find all the information. All right. I see Aviral is saying installation is taking so much time. Are you installing the repository? How are you doing it? You can simply do npx N10, and you don't have to then necessarily install the whole packages, and it will start quickly. Ah, someone just followed me on GitHub. Let me refresh it. Let's see. Awesome. Thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate that. All right. Awesome. Taking a look again at the chat, global install probably just adds to the system path. Yeah, exactly. So global install adds it to the system path, and then you can use the init command to run it. All right. Okay. Let me show the docs over here so that you can know. I would suggest to, once you have Node installed, just run the command npx init. This will quickly get install init. What's your Twitter? My Twitter is already something that you can see on my name over somewhere here. I don't know. Am I pointing it right? I don't know. Yeah, somewhere over here. It's Herschel1712. All right. So let's see. Folks who are still installing, were you able to install it? Just let me know when you're done with that so that we can move forward. And while we are waiting for other people, I'm just curious to know how many of you already know about the AWS Infinidash. Let me quickly, get the name right. I think I'm saying the name wrong. It's Infinite Dash or Infinite Dashboard. I'm not too sure. I'm just gonna take a look. Let's see. Okay, it's Infinite Dash. I am correct. It's Infinite Dash. So how many of you are aware about AWS Infinite Dash? It's a really cool technology, and I think you should check out Joe Nash, who has been talking about it. What is it? I don't want to spoil it on the stream. I use Google Cloud mostly. Okay, let's do this. Hmm. I don't want to spoil about and talk a lot about AWS Infinidash on the screen because on this stream because I think I might deviate and start talking a lot about it. But what you can do is you can tag Joe Nash on Twitter. If you don't know his handle, let me quickly get that. It's JNA underscore SH. So that's Joe Nash, and you can just ask him about it on Twitter. Okay, I see someone has got an error. Why is it showing so? I'm curious. I haven't seen this error before. Okay, is anyone also seeing this particular error, or is it just Amit who ran into this error? And minimum entropy, they say that I am hesitant to use AWS. Uh, I don't know. I have used both Google Cloud and AWS, and I think I feel like AWS is a bit more easy to use than Google Cloud, but then I like Google Cloud's UI more than AWS. So it's a bit tricky to select a particular platform. But I have been exploring DigitalOcean uh, for a while now, and it's quite simple, I think. So I don't know. Maybe you can check that out as well. Okay, people, how are we doing with the installation? I know Amit ran into an error, but is anyone else also facing the problem? Just quickly let me know in the chat. Okay, I think that is a lag, so no problem. So what I am gonna do now is I'm gonna move forward and I am gonna go a bit slow so that you all, if you even miss the a particular step, I'm sure you will be, able to catch up with me. Awesome. So Vijay says installation done successfully. Cool, pretty awesome. I see a +1. Not sure what this +1 is for, but I am assuming that's for a successful installation. So what is the step after running init and start? The next step is to just type O in the terminal and it will open init for you in your browser. But you can also navigate to the localhost port 5678. I'm not sure if you can see the link clearly, but it's localhost 5678. And just if you type it in the browser, it will open it for you. Okay, I see Sriman answering. I use command prompt to or git bash rather than node.js. Okay, Amit, you should try this and just tag Sriman24 and let them know if you run with this particular problem or if you want more information. All right, so done with the installation. Pretty awesome. So let's start. So now, since we want to scrape GitHub, we can always use the GitHub node in anytime. Now there are few technical terms that are related to anytime, but I am gonna explain them. So what I'm gonna do is uh, I'm gonna use this node, which is basically an integration. So if I click on this, I see the GitHub node gets open and I can see all the resources. Now remember, we are interested in getting the top repositories, right? So let's see if we can, somewhere get the top repositories. So there is a repository resource, that's good. But let's see if we can get this. So we can get a data for single repository, get the license, get the issues, get the profile. Okay. So repositories is not gonna work for us. Let's check another resource. Okay. So I don't think none of these resources are gonna work for us, and I think we might have to go and take the web scraping part. So how do you make HTTP calls in an attempt if you don't have that particular functionality, right? And that's where I feel N10 is very flexible, because we have an HTTP request node, right, which you can use to make HTTP calls to any particular URL of your choice. Now, I'm going to take a quick pause over here, come back to the chat, and make sure that everyone is on with me on the same page. They have the HTTP request node open. If not, and if again you are facing any issues, just let me know in the chat. Okay. Shriman says like running npx init in command prompt. Okay. So after installing Node.js from the website, you have to run npx init in the command prompt. All right. Thank you, Shriman, for sharing that. Amit, let us know if you have any issues, if you still have any issues. Yes, see the HTTP request window. All right. So Eve, I'm just gonna call you that because I'm not sure how do you pronounce that. Uh, but yeah, they say that they have the HTTP request window open. Pretty awesome. So Eve, this is what I want you to do. I want you to try out making some HTTP calls and see if you are able to successfully make those calls. And if not, let's see why you cannot do that. So again, people, I am waiting for you. Just take your time. We are not in a rush. Just let me know when you are done with your when you're done with the installation and when you have the HTTP request node open. Problem got solved. Thanks. Awesome. That's cool. All right. It's Eve. Okay. Okay. I don't. Okay. Eve. I am really sorry. I'm not gonna. I'm trying my best, but I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get your name right today. I'm really sorry for that. But let's do this. I'm just gonna call you Eve if that's completely fine with you. Cool. And I see a question from you. Wouldn't I need a token from GitHub? Do you? Did you try making a request, and were you getting any authentication errors? Because I don't think you would, right? Because we are not making a request to the GitHub API over here. So I don't think you need any kind of authentication over here. All right, people, where are you at? Let me know. Where are you? What are you doing right now? Are you with me on the same page? What are you doing? Have you installed Node.js? Have you started N10? Just quickly let me know in the chat. And while Eve is trying to figure out this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a small hint over here. So over here, we see there is a response format, right? And since we are scraping the web page, right? what is gonna happen is the web page, when we make a call to a particular URL, and that's a web page, right? It is not gonna return as JSON, of course. It is gonna return as something called that's called HTML, right? Because it's a web page. So we can either get a file or we can get a string, right? So that's a clue for you all today. So what you can do is, instead of using JSON, try it with the file as the response format, or try it with the string, right? And I see over here, you can call me same page. That's pretty awesome. Really love to know. I see a good question. What's the use web scraping part referring to here? So before getting to that part, we need to first get something, right? We need to get some data. We need to scrape the web so that we can use web scraping. So that's what we are doing here. So we are covering the first part, that's scraping the web. And in the next part, we are gonna, look into how we are gonna use this. Okay. Okay. So I think Evie's issue got resolved. That's pretty cool. All right. So I am gonna now move forward with this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just quickly copy the GitHub's search link. So let me show you what I'm gonna put in over here. So I'm gonna do search. And this is what I want to scrape today, because I want to scrape, top repositories. And let's go and do that. Again, people, I know some of you mentioned that uh, there is an API, but I don't think there's an API, to get top repositories. But if you find it, let me know, and maybe then, we can use that API instead. All right, so I'm gonna paste this, and I'm gonna do and try with string for now, and let's see what it returns. Okay, just give me a second. I'm looking at the chat over here. Can it scrape JS framework websites too? If they are static, if they are server-side rendered websites, it can scrape that. But if they are, the client-side rendered websites, then you might have to use something like Puppeteer, to scrape those websites. Okay, uh, Qfist says what can't she eat? Huh? What were you not able to see? Just let me know, and I am happy to repeat that part. So let me just go back. So what I am going to do is, so github.com/search, right? And what it would do is it takes me to this particular website. So let me just quickly paste it in the chat for you. So over here it is github.com/search, and this is where I'm going to make a request. Now, if you see over here, right now the page does not show anything, so I am not expecting, any kind of information. But let's see. Let's see what we get over here. So if I execute the node, it is making the call. Awesome. All right. Okay. So I see we got a lot of, HTML over here. So it is basically just, getting that HTML code and putting it out over here, right? And that's how when you when you build web scrapers using, Python or JavaScript, this is this kind of similar process. It always gives you the HTML part, and then you have to, extract that. So let's see, and let's, take the next step and see how we can do that. But I see Ravia shared a link to the project that they built, which is a web scraper, which, okay. So they made a Puppeteer crawler that will crawl JS files too. That's pretty awesome, right? So if you want to, scrape a website that is client-side rendered website, right? You have to use Puppeteer, something like this, that Ravia made. You can use that. All right. Is there any reason why it can't scrape client-side scripted websites? Yes, there is a reason for that, Sumi. So what happens is, uh, whenever you make a request to those particular websites, right, which are client-side rendered websites, what happens behind the scenes is once the request is made, the server sends the data, and the website gets built on the client side. Now, what the browsers, they already have that information, they already have that capabilities to build that website from the data that the server sends, right? But because this is a simple HTTP request node and it is not a whole browser, it cannot build the website on its own, and that's why it cannot scrape a client side scripted website. I hope that answers your question and clears your doubt. So I am gonna move forward, and this is the part that I love a lot whenever I'm coding, is to get into the developer tools and see for the particular classes that we need. Now, if you are not sure about how you can get this tool, you can right click on your browser and there is an option that says inspect. And if you click on inspect, it will open the developer tools for you. Now, this is a really, fun place to play around if you are a kind of nerd like me. Okay, I see someone is saying, is the screen kind of small for others too? Ah, okay. Let me know everyone if the screen is small for everyone, and I will try to, change the resolution and see if it is more visible to everyone. And I would also like to know which screen especially you're talking about. Are you talking about the end screen that I have, or are you talking about this whole setup in general? Okay, so let's. So this is where you can do a lot of fun stuff. So what I am gonna do is maybe I don't know, change some values over here since you have search more than 73 million. Let's inspect this and modify this 73 million. All right, okay, let's do this. Instead of users, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do blahaj, right? So let's do blahaj, and over here, see the text of the website gets changed, and that is a fun part. So if you want to fool a friend around, you can just go ahead in the developer tools, change some settings over there, and then you can the and then you can just have fun with them. But this is gonna stay until you refresh. So if I just refresh this, it is again gonna change this. So just make sure that I see Adam says, did someone say Blahaj? You just missed it. We were looking for 73 million Blahaj, but maybe let's look for 553 million Blahaj. Awesome. All right. Uh, Classic Karthik says the whole setup. Ah, okay. That's pretty sad if the whole setup is kind of a bit small for you. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna remove the screen for now and give me a couple of minutes over here, folks. Let me move some screens and let's see if this might solve. So I'm gonna stop the screen, share screen, and screen one over here. All right, what about this? What do you think? Is this more visible? Is this a bit bigger, bit nicer than the previous one? Just let me know if this is good and that we can move forward. Better, awesome, cool, cool. Better, thanks, awesome. All right, so we have knocked one of the issues now. So let's get back to this. So over here we see that it is right now searching for 553 million blahaj. That's a lot of blahaj, right? But Today we are interested in searching for repositories. So let's see, use some of our prefixes or advanced search. Advanced search, okay. So is this a repository? Yes, this is a repository. And okay, so over here we have to specify the repository, creating dates. Okay, all right, awesome. So we can specify a language. So I know a lot of people have been talking in the chat about Python and JavaScript. So which language do we want to search for? Just let me know. Should it be Python, JavaScript, or a completely different language? For some reason, I want to do something with Shell. I don't know. Or maybe Perl. That's like a good option, right? Let me know which language should we search for today. I see one word for JavaScript. Pretty good. What other people want? There are, okay. Wow. Okay. So there are. All right. I didn't knew there is a language that's called Alloy. Interesting. Awesome. Haskell. Oh, we got someone who's Haskell lover. That's awesome. And oh, cow. Wait, what? There is a language that's called cow. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. Do we have cow? We do. I don't know. We have a language that's called cool. That's pretty cool. Okay. I don't see cow over here. Sorry. Cow is not on GitHub still now. I think you should build a project and add cow as a language. That should add cow to the map as well, but I don't see. Oh, we have boo as a language. That's pretty cool. Adam, I have a good idea for you. Why not have Blahat as a language? And maybe in the next MLH event, we can search for top repositories which uses the Blahat as a language. That would be pretty exciting. Okay, people, let's come back to this. Mini entropy says bash, Haskell, C, JavaScript. Ha. Okay, I'm getting a lot of options over here, folks. How many languages from the wishes? Yes, I know, right? And it's crazy. Like I honestly haven't heard about most of these languages. That's so fun. That's so cool. Okay, all right. Hmm. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a good old friend, HTML, because I don't know. I think HTML was the first, probably, you know the language that kind of inspired me to get more involved into programming. So I'm just gonna go for HTML. But now that you're talking about that, I would love to know what was your first favorite language that kind of got you into programming or got you into hackathons. Okay, so while you are answering that, I see a lot of cool commands coming in. Python, a lot of people are saying Python was the language that got them into programming, that kind of inspired them to continue programming. C++, Java, that's pretty cool. I really love this. Wow, that's nice. So, for the people, okay, we got someone from C as well. That's nice. That's nice. I honestly haven't, build any projects, or I mean a lot of projects with C or C++. I think I did a couple of things with Java, but that not anything fancy over there. So I'd love to know what kind of projects or stuff you do with those languages, because we know with HTML you build websites, right? You build web pages. I won't say websites. So yeah, which wishes is still saying cow. Wishes I am really interested to see a project on cow, because that's gonna be really interesting. Okay, so why I did this, right? So I did this because I wanted to get this particular string over here. Because earlier, if we just if we didn't had this parameter, we got this page, right? Which wasn't helpful to us at all, right? So we had to pass on some query parameters to get a list of these repositories, right? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna go back to N10 and see how we can pass on these query parameters. So again, I'm just gonna copy this URL, go to my N10 editor and see if I can, just simply paste it. And so the language we are looking for is HTML. The type is repositories because we are interested in repositories. Advanced searches. Do we need that? Let's see. Let's see. Let's remove this, I think, because this is a reference and it does not add a lot of value over here. So can we get, okay. So we are getting the same data if we remove advanced searches parameter. So we're just gonna do that. And now let's go execute the node. Okay, Java is nice. Actually, I like everything is a reference except for primitives. Interesting. Yeah. I am really interested to talk to you about JavaScript. I think that is gonna be a really fun conversation about JavaScript, but but maybe for some other time, some other time. Let's see. Okay. So now we are getting a huge HTML information over here. That's cool, but this is again not too useful for us, right? So what I am gonna do is I am gonna go back to this and just let me move this. All right. So I am again accessing the developer tools. Now because I am interested in only this particular list, I am gonna take a look in the HTML and figure out a way to extract all this information. So let's go the old way and inspect this. So it is inspecting only this particular section. All right, okay, so this is good. So we have a UL element. Now, if you don't know UL is an unordered list, which has a class that's called repo list. That's nice. And each of this again contains an li, which is a list element. And then they have some this, that's okay. An SVG, we don't want the SVG. Okay. Wow, okay. So that, so data is there, but it's kind of nested, uh, it's kind of nested some bit below. So what we can do is, let's see, maybe we first, try to get this repo list, or maybe just try to, get all the li elements and see if we are able to successfully get those. And then maybe later on just get, the name of these repos. So let's see. Okay. I am gonna close this now because for some reason I was go back to that. I'm gonna close this as well. Cool. So another cool node over here in N10 is the HTML extract node. So what this does, this node does is extracts the HTML, right? So because we know the CSS class that we want to get the data from, we can specify those class, and hopefully this should give us the data, right? So before jumping into this, I want to know from you all which classes should we look for. So let me quickly go over here. Now we are interested in the list items. So the list items is under UL element, which has a class repo list, and the list item tag has a has a repo list item class, right? So what do you think should be our CSS selector for this? Okay, so I'm gonna not go ahead with this. I want to know from you all I want to, see what you all do with this if you are able to, try it out on your own. Hmm. Okay. While you do that, a couple of hints that I'm going to drop now. Since we are interested in all the list elements, right? We don't want the text. We want the HTML because in the next step, we are going to extract the information from that HTML. So instead of text, you can do HTML. And again, the list will be an array of items, right? Because if we come over here, my bad, if we come over here, you can see that we have multiple list items. So we want to return all of these list items. So that's why we want to return an array. So classic Karthik says repo list. Okay. So I am gonna go with repo list. Now I am appending it with dot because it is a class, folks. And whenever you are using CSS selectors, if it's a class, you need to append them with dot. If it's an ID, you have to use a hashtag. And if it's just an element, if it's just a HTML tag, you can just simply specify the name of the tag. And over here, what I'm gonna do is just call this repo. Let's just call this repo list as well, right? So Karthik is suggesting repo list class. So I'm gonna execute this and see what we get over here. All right, so we are getting some information. I'm going to switch to the JSON view over here. Okay, I think we got the information that we needed, but, uh, I think we can refine this a bit more, so that it returns the items within. So, maybe add some other class after repo list, you know, maybe something from the nested element or something like that. I don't know. What do you think? This is again HTML kind of code. Yeah, yeah. So what it is doing is it is looking, at the HTML code that we got in the previous node. So in this HTTP request node, and it is now, just giving us the information that is in this that this particular class has. So we are telling that, hey, I just want this particular information that is in the repo list. Give me all the HTML which is in the repo list. And that is why it is giving us the HTML over here, right? Now, again, I think we can, refine this a bit more. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and help you folks with this. So I'm going to do repo. Okay. Maybe another level of extraction. Yes, we can do that. We can add another node. That's a good one. I really like that. Or, or what we can do is, since we are, already interested in the items, we already know that our information that we need is in the li tag, right? So why not, also get the li tag as well, get all the information from the li tag as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to specify the class that's in the li tag, repo list item, execute the node, and all right. So now we see that we have the div elements only, right? Which contains some information. That's okay. We know that it contains an information which we may not need. So if we see over here, I'm going to close this now. So we have the div element. Now we have two divs. The first contains the icon. Let me zoom in over here, right? So the first over here, if you see, it contains the icon, and the next contains the information. So for this one, we are going to add another node which will, get us this information. Now, as Qfused mentioned, we can add another node. So instead of, adding this particular class, let me get this, adding this particular class, We can add another node and then look for this class and then add another node to look for that information. I just, kind of reduce those steps for us. And now we just, get the div elements so that we can kind of reduce the steps uh, and have a workflow which has, a less number of nodes, right? So now that we have the div, what we can do next is, extract the information from the div. Now, I think you all now have a pretty good idea of of how to use the HTML extract node. So I want you all to, go ahead and try it out and just, get the information, right? So what information we can get? Okay, before jumping into that, I see there's a question. I got an empty repo list. What did I mess up? And Sriman says that add a space. Yes. So there is a space in between, right? So there is a white space between repo list and repo list item. So make sure you add that. Also make sure you have the dots before both the class names, right? So make sure you do that as well. Okay. All right. So folks, again, I want you all to try it out and get the information. What we want to do now is we want to get the name of the repo and maybe a description. Okay, let's start small. Let's just start with the name and maybe something else. Q first. This is okay. So you got it. Awesome. All right. So I think it's working for you now. Okay. So the next step is to add the HTML extract node. Don't worry, I am not gonna move ahead with this. I want you all to do it. So I'm just gonna, have just opened an empty HTML extract node. Just uh, one quick tip over here. If you see over here, the JSON property, it is data. But if we go back to our previous node, over here, we are calling it as repo list, right? So make sure that in this particular HTML extract node, instead of data, you change it to repo list. That's it. That's the only hint that I'm going to give you. Now I want you all to try it out on your own. Space and then period. Yes, there is a space and then a period like this. Okay, folks. So once we have the name of the repo, I think we are doing a bit quite well with the time. So what I want to do is once we have the name of the repo, we can probably, try to post it on Discord or what do you all want to do? We can, how do you want to, share this list of projects? Just let me know and let's, brainstorm this together. I have a Discord, I have a test Discord server that I always use when I play around with, Discord and some integrations over there. So we can use that, or we can, I don't know, do tweet. I think, but I think with tweeting, it would be tweeting hundreds of repos. How many repos did this return? Okay, so I don't want to tweet this many times. So let's not do tweet. But yeah, maybe share it on Discord or something. I think that's a good idea. Let's see. All right, people. So I am curious to see if any of you were able to, get the name of the repo from the previous node. And in the meantime, you all are trying this. I am curious to know this, which was the first open source project that you contributed to. You know, uh, I can share my open source journey. So I got introduced to GitHub uh, via via my cousin who is a software engineer, and he told me that, hey, since you are a programmer, you should now have a GitHub account and you should post your projects over there. This would help you with build your profile. And I was like, okay, if you say so, I'll do that. So I started doing that. So if you check my GitHub account and if you check my old repos, I think I've archived a few of them. I don't know, remember, but those were the first projects that I built and everything. And I was really curious to s- learn more about GitHub and see why do people post these projects, and what how are how is everyone benefiting from that. And that's where Hacktoberfest happened. So I actually got introduced to open source during Hacktoberfest, and that was the first time where I contributed to an open source project. And Q4 says there are so many classes. I know there are so many classes. That's why I love the CSS dev tools. Because you can play around with it. You can see what you want, what you don't want, and we get the information over here, right? So I think if you want to get the name of the repo, something like this, I think it's in the A tag, which I think has just one class. So maybe use that. And let's see if you want to do another information, what is the other information? So there's description as well, so you can get that. Uh, the repo link is href. It is, but right now we don't want to get the repo link, right? We just want to get this name of the repo. We can then later on figure out the repo link. And I think if you take a look at the HTML extract node, right, somewhere here or over here, I don't know, somewhere over here in the return value, you can get the link to the repo as well. But I think you can get the information, with the A class. That's the repo name, right? That's the repo name. Yes, so over here, that's the repo name. And I think this is a text, right? And this is having a class. Now, it does not matter if it is an anchor tag, or if it's a div tag, or if it's a paragraph tag. We have a class over here, and we can use that. Do that. I can't see a separate tag for repo name. Yeah, I don't think there is a separate tag for the repo name. I think we will have to extract it from the anchor tag. All right. So people, yeah, what I was talking about my open source journey. So yeah, Hacktoberfest was how I got introduced to open source, and my first open source contributions were some fixes to the doc property. Sorry, some fixes to documentation of few open source projects. Uh, but I felt empowered, when I made those contributions and my contributions got merged. So that is my open source journey. I would love to know which was how you got introduced to open source, and which was your first project that you contributed to open source. And if you haven't, started contributing to open source, definitely check out MLH Fellowship. That's the best place where you get the opportunity to contribute to open source. And again, we are building this project so that we can get the top open source projects for a particular language. Right now we are looking just for HTML, but you can then look for a project that is for a language of your interest. And yeah, and then you can start contributing to them. So I see a question in the chat. Where does the JSON property and key refer to? What does the JSON property and the key refer to? So the JSON property and the key refers to, the source data. So the source data is the JSON object over here. Now you can see there is a binary option and there is a JSON object option. So, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go a bit technical over here. So just bear with me for a few minutes. If you have any questions, again, I am always happy to answer them. Just post them in the chat. So if I open the HTTP request node, you see that we have this whole chunk of information, right? Now this is practically a string, but for init, this whole string is wrapped in a JSON object. So this whole thing is a JSON object. And that is what we are specifying over here, that the source data is JSON, right? And the JSON property is data for this particular node. Why? Because the property name over here is data, right? So if I change this to, I don't know, search, execute this node, right? Now again, this will make the request, get that information. We got the information. You see the key over here is now search. And again, if I execute the node, now I am using the default value over here. I haven't changed it to search. And if I execute this, it is not going to return any information to me because there is no property named data. So I have to change it to search. And now if I execute this, it is going to return the values for me, right? Now that's JSON. Now talking about binary over here, now we could also have, got the HTML file. So for that, we could have, instead of string, changed it to a file, and then this would have got a binary file for us. Now, because we would have a binary file, what we could have done is, because that is a binary file, we change it to binary, and then it would read the data from that binary file. I hope, Sriman, that answers your question. But let me know if you want to know and get more technical into this. I'm always happy to chat about it. And I see a question, how to edit a node. How to edit a node. Can you be a bit more specific? What exactly do you mean by this? I'm not sure what do you want to do with this. Do you want to, I don't know, rename the node? Get repo name. Oh, this is get repo list. Do you want to, I don't know, what do you want to do? Ideally, welcome to the stream. Which tool is being used to scrape? So we are using init.io, which is a low-code, automation platform, and we are using this to do it. All right. So I can only copy and delete. I am unable to open it. Okay, so you're not able to open the node. That's what you are saying. So if you double click the node, does it not open for you? Is that your question? Okay, I am gonna ignore it. Okay, I think you gotcha. Awesome. All right. So people, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and try out some ideas that I discussed earlier, right? So what we want is the name of the repository, right? So we can get it probably from we align middle class. Let's see. So Sriman says, I'm getting an array of empty strings. Sriman, did you change the JSON property in the new HTML extract node? Maybe that's why you are getting that. Did you check that? Okay, so this is, I'm going to call it name, or maybe let's call this repo name. And in the CSS class, I'm going to use this. No spaces. I'm going to return an array, execute it. Please give me a name. Please give me a name. Please give. All right, awesome. So over here, you can see that we got the name over here of all the 10 repos. Interesting. So it's interesting to see that when we made that search, we only got 10 repos. So that's something to keep in mind, right? So we might have to, once we post this, we might have to do pagination over here, get the next 10 repos, extract that information, and then get the names and send it out over here. So for that, you don't have to, create the workflow again. What you can do is just have some condition for pagination and connect the nodes. So what this will do is this will create a loop and then just, look for all the pages and get the information for you for all those different pages. Okay, Shriman, let me know if you're still, getting this problem, because over here, I am getting the response. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and turn this off and execute it and see what we get. Perfect. Right. So this is perfect. This is, I think, what I want. Same issue as 3 months. Huh. Interesting. So I am getting the response, but you folks aren't. Okay. So let's quickly pause over here. In the get repo list, in the key value, what name did you enter? Are you using this particular key in the JSON property name? That's my first question for you. Second question is, are you using this particular class? So I'm using the class v align middle, right? And again, remember to use the dot append. Yeah, v align middle. Okay. Samat Kitu, they say I am getting keys via repo name, but the values are empty. Okay, the values are empty. Interesting. I think then you are not using the correct repo name. Sorry, correct class name. Do you want to check that? Now, again, you can, verify this if you go to the developers tool. So what you can do is, let me close this and show how you can access this. Click on just, okay, don't click on it. Just hover over to one of these repositories name, right click, do inspect. And over here, this gives you, the HTML content where the name is, over here, right? Now, what we want is the class. So over here, you can see the class is over here. Now, because we are using a class in the CSS selector, make sure you do dot append. Woot. I see a lot of people got this working. Confess, I got it. It works for me now. That's pretty awesome. For Arusi as well, it's working. That's pretty cool. And Sriman says that they thought they need to go one by one, like repo.firm, repo.do, rather than typing the class name directly. Yeah, see, so that's kind of pretty cool over here, right? You just need to specify the name once, and for all these values, for all these, for all these classes that are in this particular huge object, and it then extracts the information. Okay, people. So I asked you a question earlier. The question was, now that we have the name of the repo, where do we want to share this? Do we want to share it on Discord? Or do we want to share it at someplace else? Because I think with Discord, it's pretty quick for now, and I can quickly show you how this can be done. It's got a bit of fun. I think I might need to be a bit careful with my Discord webhook URL, because, yeah, why should we share? Now, that's a really good question. So the idea over here got started, to help our fellow community members to know which are the top projects for a particular language, right? And this uh, okay, let me rephrase this. So how do you find out a project that you want to contribute to? For me, I search for the repos by going through the particular language, right? So that's what we did. we searched for a repo based on a language. Now we have the top 10 repositories, right? So what we can do is we now have the information for these repositories for the top 10 repositories for HTML. Now we can share this with our fellow community members and just encourage them and share and tell them, hey, these are the top repositories that you can contribute to, right? So this is what we talked this is what we kind of touched a bit earlier when we started with this, and I think that kind of gives you an idea that why we should share it. What about the followers? We missed that, right? What followers are we talking about? I'm not too sure. Can you just give me a bit more context over here? I thought it just for ourselves. You can have it for yourselves as well. But I think it's good to share it with other people so that the people can contribute to this amazing project as well, right? So, okay. So the followers for the repo, does a repo have a follower? I think not, but a repo has GitHub stars. So you can get this information as well. So what you can do is, again, inspect it, see where this particular information lies. It's over somewhere here. Okay. So it's in link muted, and that's the text that we want. So I think you can get the GitHub stars as well. So I don't think a repo has your followers, but you can always get the GitHub stars. And coming back to your idea of having it for ourselves, so what you can do is you can get this data maybe I don't know every week, every month, and then store it in a database or build a web page where you share this information, right? So now that you have all this information that is coming in from GitHub from a very reliable source, you store it in a database, and then have a web page which will display this information. So that's again another cool project that you can build. So the idea of web scraping is to save others time in getting the key info from HTML page. Not exactly. So the idea of web scraping over here is to get the information that we usually cannot get via an API, right? So let's see if I can get the API over here. So if I go to the GitHub's API and if I search for search, right? There is no way that I can search for particular repositories. So you can see that you can search for users, but you cannot search for repositories. That is why we are scraping the GitHub's search page, passing on some parameters. And since we are already doing that, why not build a project that can help fellow members? So I think that kind of schema gives you an idea. If not, let me know. Kiffer says, how are they different, the stars and the followers? Okay, so let's open a particular repo. I don't know, I'm gonna open this particular one. So if I have opened this, right? So if you see over here, there is nothing as followers for a particular repo, right? If you see, there is no way there are contributors, but nowhere over here there is followers. So GitHub projects, they don't have the concept of followers, but there is this concept of stars. So a lot of people use stars in a lot of different ways on GitHub. Someone, uses stars to kind of add them to their bookmark. Someone, gives a star to a project as a sign of showing, a support to their project. So it's how people use stars. So GitHub again does not have followers, but has stars. So that's why I talked about stars. And I see Kiffer saying scraping is usually making HTML request. In a way, yes. Scraping is making an HTML request to a particular web page, get that data, refine that data, and then do whatever next you want to do with that data. Okay, all right, people. I didn't see any answer for my question that I asked earlier. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna go to a different screen now and see if I have my Discord over there. I'm not sure. Let's see if I have Discord open in my browser. All right. I have Discord open in my browser. That's pretty cool. No, I have to log in. Okay, I'm not gonna log in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull my Discord on the stream. Let me see. Let me put it over here. I think it's too huge. All right. So this is my test server over here. I hope you all can see this. If not, just let me know and I'll try to fix it. Okay, gotcha. All right, people, I am back. So what was it? The question. So my question was, where should we share this information, right? So because now we have, the information coming in, and we want this to share it with our community, with our fellow community members, and encourage them to contribute to open source. Where should we do this? So, and that's the question that I asked, but none of you gave me a response for that. So I am gonna go to Discord and use Discord for this. Okay. So as I said, I have a test server where I do a lot of testing. So you can see over here, I have a couple of bots that I use for testing and do a lot of integration and a lot of I don't know, a lot of I do a lot of shit posting on my test server. Okay. So because we want to post it on Discord, what I'm gonna do is I see someone sent me a notification on Discord. I don't know. I'm not gonna open it right now. I'm just gonna focus on building this because we have just uh 32 minutes if I'm not wrong. Let's see. All right. So because we just want to post it on our Discord server, I'm gonna go to, let's see, server settings and integrations. Yes. And I have already a couple of webhooks. Interesting. A couple of webhooks already created. So you can see a webhook test, interview bot, onboarding bot, a lot of webhooks. So I'm going to use one of them. I'm just going to copy the webhook URL. Now, again, this if you don't have a Discord test server, I think it's pretty easy to. Sorry, yeah, it's pretty easy to build a test server. Uh, Let me know if you want me to show how you can create a test server. I can quickly go through that as well, because I think we are doing really good on time here, folks. Okay, so I have copied my webhook URL. I'm going to go back to init. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Discord node. Yep. And in here, I need to pass on my webhook URL. Now, I don't want to pass and share my webhook URL publicly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on to a different screen right now and open init over there. So you will not see what I am doing right now, but I am going to talk through the process. So I am on a different init instance on my screen. I have the Discord node open. It looks something like this. Now in the webhook URL, what I'm doing is I'm just pasting the webhook URL that I copied from my Discord server. That's it. That's all I did. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this particular node, copy that node that I configured, and paste it over here. So if I open this, you can see that it has now my webhook URL. Okay, all right. So I see a question. Where can I? Okay, sorry, I get carried. Why was that? Why we were discussing about webhooks? When were we discussing about webhooks? Were we discussing about webhooks? I am not too sure. I'm not too sure if we were discussing about webhooks, but now we are discussing about webhooks. Okay, so where can I find the webhook URL? What is a webhook URL? What is the webhook URL? Okay, and where can we find the webhook URL? All right. Okay. So let's do this. So what is a webhook URL? So hmm, how should I go with this? Okay, so I'm just gonna explain in what in the terms that we are using this. So what will happen is, so webhook URL is basically an HTTP endpoint, right? So whenever you make a request to a particular webhook URL, it makes a so make a request to the particular webhook URL that whatever is configured for that webhook URL, that kind of process is going to execute. So for our Discord server, I know folks, I'm going to show you how you can get your webhook URL. Just give me a couple of minutes over here. So when our Discord node will run, it will make a call to this particular webhook URL that I am not going to show on the live stream, and it will also pass on the text that we will be sharing, and it will then pass on all this information to the channel. I'm not sure which channel this is going to pass the information to, but I think we'll figure it out. All right, so that is webhook URL in terms of how we are using it. But if you want to get a bit more idea into webhook URLs and learn more about that, maybe we can discuss it a bit more later on. Now, I see people asking where can they find the webhook URL. So if you are an owner of a Discord server, if you're not, I would suggest to, create a test server, because I think creating a test server is really fun because you can do a lot of random stuff over there. You can build a lot of bots if you are interested in that and just try it out. So I'm in my test server and I am gonna go to server settings over here. And I see Adam is back. Hey, Adam, we missed you. So we earlier were talking about creating a language that's called Behaj and build projects on them and then add it to GitHub, right? Because we looked at GitHub and sadly there is no language that's called Behaj. So maybe we can do something like that. Okay, coming back to this. So once you are into your server settings, you want to go to integrations. Now again, you might only see integrations if you are the owner of the server or if you have the correct access to the server. All right, and what you can do is you go to your webhooks, then do new webhook. You can give this a name. By default, Captain Hook looks good. General also looks good, and then copy the webhook URL. Once you copy that, you have the webhook URL that you can add to the Discord node anytime. And I see Adam over here inviting you all to the Blahaj Gang's Discord server. So if you are not there, go ahead, join it. You and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And Sriman says that he's not going to betray his girl. I love your loyalty over there. Maybe Sriman, you might want to share the link for your Discord server as well. And yeah, as Adam says, anyone can join in. It's not about betraying about your guild, but knowing what other guilds are doing and maybe collaborating with them and building something cool. and just knowing everyone around in the different guild. Okay, people. So we now have the name of the project. We now have our Discord node. The cool part about the Discord node is you don't have to authenticate yourselves. You just need a webhook URL. That's pretty cool. All right. So now because we want to, okay, so let's test this. Let's test this. So if I, say repo name, what would it do? Would it send the repo name or not? Before I execute this, okay, I can execute this. And I'm going to quickly close it so that we don't see the output. Okay, I don't know if you can hear this, but I can hear Discord giving me the notifications. So I executed this with some text that says repo name, but I want you all to go ahead and try it out and let me know what output did you get? Did you get the actual repo name or not? Because I know the answer for this, but I want you all to try it out and see what you get over here. And people, once again, a small gentle reminder. If you haven't check in over here at the link so that you all can get the points. You can get the points for your guild. And in the next leaderboard update, maybe your guild will be in the top. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so woo, points, yes. Points. So don't forget to check in, folks. I see I got the repo name 10 times. I see the repo name appearing 10 times. Awesome. But are you actually getting the name of the repo, or are you just getting, repo name, the message that we pasted? ROC says same as well. See, yeah. So Kifa says no. He just says the text. The text output is text, right? Just the text output. Okay, awesome. Right. So that's what I wanted you all to see and observe over here. So why this is happening? Okay, full disclosure. This is happening because we are not referencing to that particular value, right? So if I come back to my Discord server and I don't know which channel I am gonna get this message. Okay, so I'm gonna get this message bot. See over here, just repo name 10 times, right? So we are not actually getting the information. So now let's get the repo name, right? And success node in the true. Yeah, success true in the node. So yeah. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference the repo name from the previous node, right? So now you have to be a bit careful over there. Just, be with me over here. I'm going to go very slow so that you all know and so that you all can follow me for this particular step. So I'm clicking on the guys icon over here and I'm selecting the add expression option, which opens a new window for me. And you can see that we already have the repo name. That's pretty cool. We want that, but we also want the name of the repo. So what I'm going to do is I'm just pressing space and then I'm going to go to current node, input data, because this is the input data, and then the repo name. Right. So if you see over here, it gives me the name of the repo in the result, right? It gives archived as well, because I think this particular repo name contains the name of the repo as well as archived as well. So now again, if you notice over here, this is just, displaying the first name, but it's okay. Which is okay. Let's test it out. Let's test it out. Because if you remember earlier, when we executed this, it executed 10 times because we had 10 repos in our previous node, right? So now if I execute this, I'm going to again get the message success true 10 times because it is going to, send 10 messages. All right. Okay. So before I go and display, the end result on the Discord server, I want to see if you what did you all got? Were you now able to get the result? And before I complete my question, I see Q first cheering and saying it's working. It's working, but it's pretty awesome, right? So now we have the name of the repo in there. It's pretty cool. Sriman gives a cheer as well. That yeah, awesome. It's pretty cool, right? So over here, if you see, I have the name of the repo name basically, and then the name as well, right? So what I am gonna do is, okay, Samat Kittu says it's happening. It's happening. That's awesome, pretty awesome. So, okay, so we got around 19 minutes, I think. So what I'm gonna do is, because we don't want people, to contribute to the archived project, I am gonna add a condition which will only share, which will, okay, Adam, I just read your message and I got distracted. I'm gonna come back to that. Just give me a minute. Okay. Sorry, folks. Okay, so what we are gonna do is we're gonna add a condition which will remove the archive repo because we don't want people to, contribute to the projects which are absolute, which is not active, right? Yes, first archive is absolute, which is kind of not an active repository. People not actively, the maintainers are not actively, working on that project anymore, right? So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a core node in init, and which is a if node over here, right? So because we want to check for a condition which can be either true or false, I am using an if node. But if you have multiple conditions, right, what you can do is use a switch node, right? So if you see over here, the if node can only return true or false, but the switch node can return 4 different outputs. So that's what we did over here. So that's what we are going to do today. We are just going to use the if node because we just want to check for one condition and we want it to return either true or false. Cuba said each node is a filter, right? Each node is a filter in some sense, right? But what exactly this particular nodes, the HTML extract nodes are doing over here is they are extracting the HTML information, right? They are not filtering. They cannot, filter out if a particular repo is archived or not, right? They just get the information from the HTML. That's it. That is why we need a node like the if node to check for the condition. Okay. So if the condition is, let's take it slow. I'm going to connect it to the if node. Now over here, you can have various conditions, but we are going to check for string. And again, we have the repo name coming in from the previous node. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do add expression and just going to get the value, right? Now there are two ways to do this. You can either do regex if you want to go, more uh, technical way, or if you see over here, there is an option that says not contains, which I think is what we need because we don't want the repos which contains archived in their name, right? So I'm just going to copy the value archived from here to make sure I don't make any mistakes. Now, if I execute the node, hopefully it should return us only 9 values. Awesome. So if you see over here, it just gives us 9 values. You can check it over here. Items are 9, and it does not include the first repo, which is an archive repo. It, however, returns the first repo in the false node. And we don't want to do anything with that. So yeah, we can leave it as it is. And now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna connect my Discord node to the true branch. And just for some aesthetics purposes, I am gonna add a no operation do nothing node. All right, so this node does nothing. As the name suggests, no operation, do nothing, does nothing. But this just gives us an idea of what is happening when the condition is false, right? Just to get a better visual cue of what we are doing in this workflow. All right, people. So a time for the test. I am gonna execute the workflow, and we got an the workflow didn't execute because we didn't connect with the start node. So let's do that. And now execute it once again. And hopefully this will execute everything. Awesome. Okay. So you see that all these nodes got executed. And if I come to my Discord server, now instead of sending 10 messages, it just send me 9 messages. Okay, so you first asked me to repeat the step for adding the if node. So what I did was, let me quickly do this. So we earlier had something like this, right? Okay, let me do this. We had something like this. So I disconnected the HTML extract node and connected to the if node. And in the if node, what I did was in the add condition, I selected a string. Now for this particular string, we need to check for two values, right? We need to check the values that is coming in, and we need to check for a particular condition. So what I did, I again clicked on the garage icon over here, and I selected the add expression option. So let me quickly do that over here once again. Add expression, and then go to current node, input data, JSON, and then the repo name. So this, if you see over here, gives us the name of the repo. So now that we have the name of the repo, the next thing is to select which operation we want to run. So we don't want to, share the repos which has the, archived in the name, which means they are basically archived. So I selected not contains, and then I added the word archived manually in value 2. Is this clear, or do you want me to repeat it again? So once you do this, the next step is to connect the if node to the Discord node, right? And I see a very interesting question. What time zone are you in? I am in CEST, Central European Time Zone. It's kind of a bit late for me as well, but I am really enjoying hanging out with you all today. So I'm having a lot of fun. What about you, Adam? What time zone you are in? The add expression part. Okay, so let me delete the node and we can do it again. So I add the if node, which is connected to my HTML extract. No, I didn't add the repo name manually. So what I did was I go to string, right? Now I'm getting this value from the previous node. So that's why I do add expression. Then go to current node, input data, JSON, and then the name, the end repo name. So this is the expression that might appear if you are using, the repo name as well. And in the result, you can see in the result, you will see the first item. Yeah. Now you should not do it, add the repo name manually, because with time this information might change. So it's better to get this dynamically via the expression. Key first, let me know if you want me to repeat this step again I am always happy to do this again and again and again. Okay. Hmm. Midnight isn't late. I'm in BST, so I'm feeling good as it's still early for me. Ah, that's good. That's good. Is it 1 a.m. CST now? No, it is not 1 a.m. CST. It's 11:50, which makes me realize that in 10 minutes I'll have to say goodbye to you all. So people, uh, let's be a bit quick over here, right? So again, okay. Q first, this one's a minute over here. No problem. Take your time, my friend. No worries. So the add expression over here is somewhat similar to what we did for the Discord node, right? But in the Discord node, we had repo name as well, and then the actual name of the repo. Here we are just getting the name of the repo. Okay, so Sridhar says it's 3:21 a.m. for us. My friend, I really appreciate you joining in at this late. If I'm not wrong, that's the time in India right now, right? I am also originally from India, so I think if my match is correct, you are from joining in from India. Yes, yes, yes. Ah, I see, I see. Wow, folks, I really appreciate it. When I was in college, unfortunately I'm still not a student anymore. But when I was a student, I would also, do this. I would stay late up, so I was also a part of the 3 a.m. gang, just like you all. So I really miss those days now. Awesome. So Q first did it's worked for them. That's pretty awesome. So okay. So I think we just have, I don't know, 8 more minutes. So let's wrap this up, right? So we kind of started with web scraping, right? We saw how we can scrape websites without writing code today. And we also, looked how we can use what we built today and share it with the community so that everyone in our community can benefit from this. All right. So before jumping into all the questions, I am gonna just do a quick recap of what each of these node do and how we build this workflow. So if you have questions, keep them coming in the chat. I am gonna come to them after I do a quick recap of the workflow. So how we started? So we started with spinning up NA10. So you can do this via npx, or you can do it running on the Docker command, or if you want to, host it on your own servers, you can go to the server setup doc and then host it on your own servers, or you can install it with npm, and you can also use NN Cloud, right? So that's how you can get started with init. And once you have NN up and running, what we did was we added the HTTP request node because we wanted to get the top projects from GitHub. And unfortunately, GitHub does not have an API for this. So we are kind of scraping this particular web page. So if I go to, over here, this is the web page that we are scraping, and it's just giving us the information for the first page. Once we have the HTML code, what we are doing is we are using another node that can extract all this information. So that is the HTML extract node. So we have renamed the node, but it's called HTML extract, as you can see over here. So with this node, what we are doing is we are extracting the li elements, or no, okay. So we are extracting all the HTML code from the li elements, that is from the list items. And in the next HTML extract node, what we are doing is we are getting the name of the repositories. See all the name of these repositories. Now, we earlier just, were posting all the name of the repositories, but we realized there is one repository which is archived and which is inactive. So if we share that, people's contribution might not get merged, and they might not feel motivated to keep contributing. So that's why in the if node we added a condition. Let me do this once again, that checks if a particular uh, repo is archived or not. And if that repo is not archived, we share it on Discord. And if it's archived, we just do nothing with a no op node. Okay. So this is the whole workflow that we built. Now there are a lot of things that you can do. We discussed, how you can use this workflow to add this to your own database, and then maybe have a web page which gets the information from that particular database, right? So that's one way you can do this. One way you can use this. The other way you can use this is build an API on top of this. So it can be, I don't know, a slash command, sorry, not a slash command, but a particular URL slash, let's just say, HTML. And it goes to your database, gets all the top repos for HTML, and sends out the JSON. So because GitHub does not have an API, maybe you can create your own API for this so that other people can use it, right? So there are tons of possibilities that you can now do with this repo. So now I'm gonna come back to all the questions that you might have. So again, don't forget to put any questions that you might have in the chat. I am now gonna answer all your questions in the chat. Okay, so I think this is the first question. And if again you have posted a question earlier and if I missed it, put it in the chat and I'm gonna come back to this question. Is it mandatory to add no op? It is not mandatory at all, right? You don't need to add no op. I am adding it because it gives me a better visual cue of, what would happen if it goes to the false branch. That's it. So it's not mandatory to add the no op node. My bad. Okay. How long has the stream been going on? Now the stream has been going on for around 2 hours now, and you kind of missed some things that I covered up, or you missed, what we built. But I think my summary kind of gave you an idea. But again, as I see a lot of people sharing this, you can always check it out on YouTube. It is gonna be present on the live stream on Twitch, so you can refer it. You can watch the recording on Twitch. You can watch the recording on YouTube as well. So that's completely fine. You actually didn't miss anything. And I see Adam wants everyone. Adam wants you to remember to join the Blahaz Discord. Adam, I am gonna after the stream join Blahaz Discord server. I know I actually have been procrastinating a bit and not joining it, but I'm gonna do it now after the stream for sure. Okay. Question: what guild are you in? What guild am I in? I am gonna soon be in Blahaz gang, in the Blahaz guild. All right. So I'm gonna answer that. I'm not gonna give any other answer for this. Okay. So I'm gonna be in the Blahaz guild soon now. I just joined. Can you do a quick recap? Unfortunately, we are out of time. So I kind of did a quick recap, but again, you can always check it out on YouTube, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I see that my name is not being displayed. Okay. So somewhere over here, I think, I don't know. You can see my Twitter handle, so you can just reach out to me on Twitter. Uh, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share this workflow on the Anytime's website. So let me quickly share this. Anytime.io/workflows. So over here, there are a lot of workflows that the community members share, and I also share a lot of useful workflows over here. So you can, just copy these workflows. Let's just say you want to copy this workflow. So I copied this I open this workflow, uh, and I can click on copy workflow. I can come to init and I can simply paste it. And now I have my workflow over here. All I have to do is configure my credentials since I'm using add table. So that's it. That's all. That's all you have to do if you want to, use this workflow. So I'm gonna share this workflow on the workflows page, and then you can, simply use it for your own web scraping. Okay, one last question. Which browser do I use? So I am currently using Brave. I am actually a avid Firefox user, but I'm just evaluating Brave for now. So that's the browser that I'm using right now. All right, folks. So I think we are 1 minute over. So let me stop sharing my screen. Okay, so thank you all for joining in. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed a lot talking with you all, and I am very eager to see what you all built today and how you are gonna use web scraping to help the community. And I'm talking about community a lot, but you can also always use it for your own personal use case. That's completely fine. I am using it for one of my projects that's called hirejuniors.dev. Don't go to the website right now. The information over there is very old. I haven't updated that. So I'm gonna, so that's where I am using init and I'm gonna working on making sure that the website is updated automatically and I don't have to do it. So that's it. But hirejuniors.dev has a repo on GitHub. So if you want, you can contribute there as well. A lot of changes are coming over there. So that's hirejuniors.dev. Coming back to this, I enjoyed a lot. Feel free to, catch up with me on Twitter. I am gonna be again on the stream on Sunday, probably around the same time with a mini event, which is gonna be a lot of fun. So it's not gonna be technical at all. So just let's connect on Twitter. I am gonna Adam. I'm gonna join the Blahaz Gang Guild, and I'm really excited to talk with you all over there. Thank you all for joining in. I see a lot of, I see one more question. Okay, so I'm just gonna answer this question before I hop off. I am curious about which college are you from? I am not from a college anymore. I graduated last year, so I am not a student anymore. But if you are interested, I am from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Institute of Technology. I know that's a youth name, so it's called HVIT. It's based in Gujarat. So if you want to look up for it, it's HVIT. Just search HVIT Vasad, VASAD, and you can get the information from my college if you're curious about it, if you want to look up. Okay, all right, folks, thank you for joining in. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoyed as well. And I'm looking forward to what you all build with N10 or without N10, looking forward to what you do. Thank you all for joining in. Have a nice day, evening, night from wherever you're joining in. Peace.